Ladies and gentlemen, joining us right now, representing the Zuffa Boxing promotion, founded by TKO, the current president of the WWE. Ladies and gentlemen, Nick Khan.
Yeah.
How you doing, buddy?
Pat, gentlemen, thank you for having me back.
Did you see me do the suit thing there? I'm not getting paid by this guy, but I do know this guy, so I don't want people to think that I'm out here lobbying for a guy. But if I was to lobby for a guy, it would be this guy in whatever he was doing. So thank you for joining us. But this does feel like a pretty pivotal moment for a sport that I know you've loved since you were a child. Can we dive into this a little bit? You, born, raised Las Vegas. Las Vegas didn't have any professional sports teams because obviously they were worried about the gambling aspect and all that type of shit. But boxing was obviously hubbed in Vegas. You lifelong boxing fan, is that accurate? And then whenever you learn of TKO getting into the boxing business, how excited are you to kind of showcase that knowledge and also maybe change the sport that you love for the good in the future?
Thanks for the question. And first and foremost, congratulations on the post that Sam put up the other day.
Thank you.
To you, her, Mackenzie, love everything going on in your life, especially your personal life. So congratulations on that.
Thank you so much, Nick. Yeah, baby boy on the way. Hopefully happy, healthy, everything like that. I'm scared to death on how big of a pain in the ass this thing's going to be, but I am honored and pumped to obviously meet the baby boy. But let's get back to the conversation about you changing boxing because, you know, WWE, obviously you've been a wrestling fan. You understand wrestling. I think you were ticketing person at WrestleMania way back in the day. Like, you've been a fan, you've been able to implement, you've been able to be a part of it, you've been able to utilize your massive business brain to help that particular business. TKO obviously doing it with Dana White, UFC, him being able to do that. Now you're getting into boxing and kind of relaunching boxing as a whole. Do you feel like a personal thing with this because of your lifelong fanhood? And I don't want to share too much personal stuff, but I get gifts from Nick Khan every once in a while. They're usually boxing references, either a boxing book or a boxing photo or a boxing quote. I think you have posters all over your shit that are boxing people. It feels like boxing is really the home of your heart. How does it feel getting involved with it, and what is kind of where you're at in the whole process right now?
So I'm going to answer your question right now. I don't see the most recent gift on your studio set anywhere, the one that you received pre-Thanksgiving.
No, we got one right here, brother.
Oh, there we go. By the way, that's the limited collection edition black box set compared to the blue box set. So
of course.
good, we sent the right stuff.
Hulk Hogan one in the black box.
Yeah,
the black box.
This thing will stay up here until the end of the world.
Yeah, we know that, brother. Brother.
Says the man who dressed like Hulk Hogan at the last WrestleMania, which we greatly appreciate. So, in terms of boxing, number one, keep in mind, I did grow up primarily in Las Vegas. As you said, there were no professional sports at that time. Dana White also grew up primarily in Las Vegas. So as a kid who didn't have, or as kids who didn't have a lot of money in a pre-cable world, in a 3-network world, so before Fox even existed, there was boxing on NBC, ABC, and CBS almost every weekend. So the local paper would cover it, the local news would cover it. I used to be a paper delivery kid also, which enabled you to get free newspapers in the morning and afternoon. So grew up a huge fan of the sport, and progressively over the last 40 years or so, saw the sport start to die in the United States in particular, where if you look around now, outside of our announcement, Zuffa's announcement with Paramount Plus, alongside UFC's big announcement with Paramount Plus, boxing does not exist on any major media conglomerate outlet, again, outside of Paramount. It's time to put some effort in. We think there's a chance to bring it back to where it should be, and we'll see if we can get that done.
Okay, so let's talk about the chance and what you need to happen, basically, in your guys' eyes for this to really take place. I think what you're looking to do is put together, obviously, your own promotion, develop boxers, develop fighters, and also have your own ranking system and kind of run your own boxing world, a la what UFC is doing in mixed martial arts and WWE does with professional wrestling. But obviously, we're talking about very different things here when it comes to boxing and all that. But that is basically the goal, right? From my understanding, what TKO is trying to do, which is why you guys are kind of the ones that are going to be heading this. This is also something that you both understand very mightily. And then that leads to what's coming tomorrow. And I just really learned about this and read up about this. I guess the Muhammad Ali American Boxing Act is in act right now. now. And I guess there's a lot of holes, a lot of flaws, a lot of different things that people take advantage of. There's a story this morning where Terrence Crawford was stripped of his titles because he didn't pay a fee back to the World Boxing Confederation or whatever it is for $300,000. So they stripped his title because he didn't pay them that amount of cash afterwards. And so he's not the champion because he didn't pay them. They stripped him, whatever the case. It seems like really odd timing that this news gets released right now when tomorrow, I believe, there is a conversation happening in Congress about a little bit of an evolution of this or a revival of this particular act. And I know Zuffa is a massive piece of this, but you're not the only ones. There's a lot of boxers that are backing this. There's a lot of people in the boxing business that are backing it. There are retractors, obviously. Can you tell me about what you guys are trying to do and why people would not want you to do it that are in the boxing world?
Of course. So first of all, on the Terrence Crawford side, you watched that fight on Netflix on September 13th. Terrence Crawford, amazing effort against Canelo, who also had an amazing effort. Terrence Crawford unanimously won that championship. So how, in fact, is it 2.5 months later that he's no longer the champion of the World Boxing Confederation because he didn't pay a fee? That would be akin to the Los Angeles Dodgers, whether you're a Dodger fan or not, having won a grueling 7-game World Series in one of the greatest Game 7s of all time. It would be like if Major League Baseball came to them and said, well, you didn't pay us a fee, so you're no longer the World Series champion. It's only in this sport of boxing where you see nonsense like this. So with the Muhammad Ali Enhancement Act, what we're looking to do, everything that the act already has will stay the same. If you're a fighter and you want to do it the old way with the World Boxing Confederation, and by the way, the gentleman who runs that organization, this is supposed to be a nonprofit organization, going into Canelo Crawford, said he couldn't stay in a regular hotel room. He needed a suite. He wanted to make sure that his tickets were front row. He wanted to make sure there were ample number of tickets. It all seems quite odd to me that a sport would be run that way, or quite odd to us. So in the Enhancement Act, all of that, if you're a fighter and you want to continue with it, nothing changes. This is presenting a different option, where if you want to come into a unified boxing organization like Zuffa or anyone else who wants to create a unified boxing organization, come here, fight with us. We'll have our own ranking system. The champion will fight the #1 contender, just like in the UFC. And if the #1 contender is not available, then the champion fights the #2 contender. So rather than 17 weight classes and 15 different championships and people getting stripped for no reason, let's do it in a credible way.
Okay, so I love the thought of that. Common sense seems like it should be able to happen because right now there's what? The WBO, the WBA, the WBC, the IBF, and the Ring all have their own rankings. And then they kind of are the ones who decide who gets titles, who doesn't get titles. They kind of run it all. What you guys are saying is, yes, we would just like to add a new ranking system as well. Like, what would be the detractors of this? Why would people not want this to go through if you're just adding to something as opposed to maybe eliminating things?
So #1, the Ring magazine does it right. So it's the Ring model is based on the model. We're basing our model in part on the Ring's model, which again, the champion fights the #1 contender, the lineal champion, if you will. To be the man, you got to beat the man. Not to make this about Ric Flair, but that's exactly what you have to do for the Ring championship belt. It would be the same thing in Zuffa. So detractors, anyone, and you know this, you've seen it with your own show on ESPN. When someone comes in to disrupt, the people who aren't by nature disruptors don't like it. So what do? They say, hey, he doesn't do it this way, or why is Pat McAfee not doing it that way? Whatever the things that have annoyed you over the course of time, many of which we've had private conversations of, sometimes it's multiple things in one day, that's all normal. So you've disrupted. And by the way, your viewership numbers and your ratings are reflective of the great disruption that you've caused.
Come on,
significant viewers.
That means a lot coming from you. You know that the boys, you know that we really.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, Nick, you are held in high regard around here because you are an absolute dog. So we appreciate you saying that. But yes, we understand that anytime you rattle or shake some shit up a little bit, that has been the same way for a long time. People that are bums and don't have brains and don't know how to kind of evolve or get better are going to be upset that their cash cow is potentially getting ruined. Is that what you were saying? Because that's what I kind of experienced.
That's exactly right. So what you've said and what we've said to each other about your collective show, you and the boys, it's the same thing with Zuffa Boxing. But I also say what I've said to you in private. what are they supposed to say, the establishment? Oh, Dana White's coming into boxing. Let's just go out of business. Let's just give up. Or, hey, Pat McAfee's coming in here to disrupt. Well, let's just go away because our model is not as good as his model. Of course, they're not going to say that. They're going to say any negative thing they can. That's expected. We don't care. If we care about you, as I care about you and your team, then by nature, I care what you think. If we don't know who you are and you're simply upset that we're coming in, we don't care about this. Go on and live your life, and we'll do our thing.
Okay, I love you. And I love what Zuffa is seemingly about. From everything you're saying, just makes perfect common sense. I'm not from boxing world, though. I couldn't even imagine the voices that are going to come out and say, well, it kind of ruined my life, though. You know, like
I did see you doing some boxing moves in your warm-up there. You look like you've actually, by the way, you're very lean right now.
Oculus.
We'll probably put you in, 147 pounds, something like this, very lean.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think the real one's for me. I'm Oculus boxer, but
Listen, I got it. But all I know is when Sam was pregnant with Mackenzie, you weren't lifting up the shirt like that.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
You told me, you said, hey, it's tricky. Sometimes maybe a little extra this, extra that. Now you got it fully in shape.
Yeah, we're locked in. We got a morning routine. We're working out. I went and saw those drill instructors, for that movie. I went and watched these drill instructors operate, and then now we're around a former drill instructor on like a weekly basis. And boy, you really changed the standard in which you kind of view yourself with how they operate. Like in the morning, as you tell, I'm a shaver now. I shave my face now, which was never a thing. Maybe because I have a jawline currently and that could go away at any time. I'm Irish. That thing can go right there very quickly. But it's like watching these drill instructors, they like look at other people's face, like 5 a.m., 5:15 a.m., see if it's like, oh, you lost this morning because you didn't shave. Like you immediately woke up and you lost. Like, because there's always that kind of looking at you like, do you want to wake up, shave, and go out, or do you want to snooze for another 10 minutes or whatever? So it's like the way
there's also another thing about not shaving. And you can see I don't fully shave with a razor. Yeah. I have some stubble here. And some of the gentlemen on your show may not fully shave. Those of us who aren't as naturally handsome as you, we got to cover it up a little bit.
No, that's where I was.
Hey,
everybody needs to relax, okay? I was a bearded man, okay? Believe me, I've been hiding a lot for a long time.
You changed, bro.
I did not change. I did not change. I'm still a bearded man under there. But what I'm saying is, watching these DIs operate, it's like I've forced myself to almost be like, well, I'm a piece of shit compared to these. So it's like I've tried my best to become better for, myself, but also for like family, like I would like to live. I would like to live for the good of Mackenzie and obviously baby boy that's coming. So I've tried my best, man. I'm trying to stay in shape, trying to do it right.
And for your eventual return to WWE, I know I'm focused on college football. I'm building out my empire, this and that. When are you? I've already gotten 6 text messages since we got on this 5 minutes ago. When's McAfee coming back to WWE?
Look at you, 6 text messages. You probably got 1 maybe, and now you're working it up. That's good kayfabe, baby. That's good kayfabe, baby.
You the man. Were you the man?
Many. This is just since we got on.
Yeah, but those are all world leaders. That's Nick Khan football, baby. Don't you worry. I am in shape, and obviously, huge Survivor Series. Congrats to you guys. I heard 48,000 people. I heard 48,000 people at Petco for that thing. That's awesome. Unbelievable.
48,000 people. And by the way, some of the things we do at WWE and what Dana and Lawrence Epstein and the team do at UFC, we actually schedule events so they make sense for a city. Boxing doesn't do this, by the way. You'll see boxing consistently up against college football, against NBA Finals games. This past Saturday, yes, big rivalry, college football Saturday. But keep in mind, we go in the evening. Michigan, Ohio State was a long distant memory by the time we started. We did it from the San Diego Baseball Stadium, Petco Park. They were amazing hosts. Why did we do it there? There's currently no NFL team there. So if the San Diego fans have been at home watching stadium events, wishing they had an NFL team still, and saying, hey, I'd like to go to a big stadium event. Well, guess what? WWE had one for you. 46,000 plus people in attendance, and we think great matches across the board.
You said a couple names. One name I think I knew, but I didn't know the person there. He kind of snuck it in there. But
Lawrence Epstein.
No. Larry.
No relation?
No, yeah. I understand what you're saying. I think I know that. No, I don't know that name.
So Lawrence Epstein, you've met before. He's a senior executive at the UFC. Listen, sometimes now because you become so famous, Pat, You meet people, and then 2 days later, you might say, I've never met this person.
Whoa.
Definitely
I've been
there.
out.
What did he say? Hi, I'm Larry? I don't think I heard full.
I hope so.
I don't think I heard. So we just need to clear the air here on who the hell Larry is.
Yeah.
Who is Larry?
First of all, Lawrence Epstein, by the way, is on the board of trustees at Vanderbilt. Very strong football season for Vanderbilt, as you know.
Great.
So with Lawrence, who's an excellent executive and has impeccable credentials, now not only are we talking to him about UFC and boxing, but we talk about Vanderbilt football. And you saw the obviously rankings last night. You know, strong season for the Big Ten, strong season for the SEC. We'll see what happens. Either way, Lawrence will be in front of one of the subcommittees in Congress tomorrow, presenting the proposed addition to the Muhammad Ali Enhancement Act, everything that we just talked through. And anyone there can ask him any questions that we have. This is a bipartisan bill introduced by a Republican congressman and a Democratic congresswoman. As you know, that's very rare in today's political environment. And we think we have really strong support, and we're going to get more support. People want to see the sport fixed.
Yeah, I think so. And it sounds like you have the people to get it right. We need to say, though, old buddy, no relation, right? Larry, no relation?
No, different.
Thank you. Yeah, because Congress, we're doing the whole thing.
Can't have another one.
I mean, that's a bad time. That's a bad time to have that name, but he's good time to have a good brain, it sounds like, because he's obviously with Vandy, UFC, and everything like that. Okay, so tomorrow, let's hope everything goes well. Bipartisan's a big deal in the world that we're in right now. It doesn't feel like that happens for anything. I'm happy that it seems like our government is coming together to hopefully make a sport that we all can fall in love with be lovable yet again and understandable. Now, to that note, D-Bud has a question about the operations.
Yeah, I know AJ will have a ton of follow-up questions, but I'm going to move back to boxing real quick. So you said being a disruptor in the space, and the first thing came to my mind is Liv, because I'm kind of a casual boxing fan and got into golf a few years ago, and once they split, a lot of the golfers are kind of shunned. The world rankings got misconstrued. So how would this impact, I guess, boxers' ranking overall in all the different, WBC and all the different ranking systems?
Yeah, so look, Liv came out, and by the way, our partner in the Zuffa venture is Turki Al-Sheikh, who you guys know. God bless him.
God bless him.
Different than the group that was backing, different group than the group that backed Liv Golf. So what we're going to do here, we're certainly, if Terrence Crawford's a super middleweight champion of the world, you're never going to hear us say, well, he's not the super middleweight champion of the world. So all of that will be acknowledged. We're just simply going to focus on what we're doing, which is let's have the best fight the best. So rather than matchups, there's an upcoming fight where there's 11-1 favorite in the main event, not our fight, of course. We're not going to do anything like that. Let's do it the way the UFC does it, where you go in and it's either 50-50 or 60-40, and let's have competitive fights. And by the way, if you lose, no problem. We'll bring you back if you made a game effort, and if you showed for the fans, you'll come back, you'll fight again. And why only fight twice a year? When did this start? Sugar Ray Leonard coming out of the 1976 Olympics, gold medalist. The next year he fought 9 times. And 3 years later, against a gentleman named Wilfredo Benitez, had a massive fight. It only took 3 years because the frequency of his fights, and obviously he knew everything to do in the ring and had charisma and all of those things. That's the better model than just show up twice a year and then go away. We'll continue with our storytelling year round. We want to build characters, and certainly we'll build those characters based on their actual personalities.
Now, finding these types of guys or girls to be able to build these stories is obviously not easy. So I think it's going to be a lot on you guys to potentially develop. Go ahead, Ty.
Yeah, Nick, do you think this new model and the new, revival of this act, will that help create stars easier? Because I think casual boxing fans, that would be their argument. Is like, hey, I'll always watch like a Canelo fight or whoever the biggest fighter is, but then a lot of times that guy is fighting someone who clearly is not game, does not belong in the same ring. So we don't really ever get the opportunity to see stars built. There's just 3 or 4 guys at the top, and they're kind of just fighting everyone else. Do you think it's possible with this that we'll get people that we can see rise up the rankings, and it's like, oh, this guy is he's a verifiable star, and he's risen up the rankings, and we've followed that rise?
That's the absolute goal here. So one of the many problems in boxing is what you just articulated. So if there's 3 or 4 boxers that the general public knows, and that might be stretching it, if there's 3 or 4 boxers, why not try to make that 20 to 30 to 40 to 50? So it's not that only 3 to 4 boxers are skilled. It's only 3 to 4 were showcased properly the right way. And of course, they have to have the skill in ring to do it. But for us, we think we have a promotional machine. That's what we are at our core. You have UFC and Dana, promotional muscle. In my opinion, the greatest fight promoter in the history of the fight game, Dana. You have the WWE's promotional muscle, which you guys have lived through it. We know how strong that can be promoted. What you can't do is just put together a fight, do a couple of boxing interviews and say, hey, please watch my fight on a network that people have not heard of. You got to have some promotional muscle behind it. We think we'll provide that, and we think we can develop more stars with that.
Stars move the needle. You know that. Everybody knows that. Stars move the needle, but you got to be able to have supplementary, you know, as you're kind of freeze up there, as you're talking about changing the entire sport there. Welcome back. I'll be pumped to watch you guys do all this, because you would think with how busy you both are running these multi-billion-dollar companies and having to deal with all the things that you have to deal with, trying to expand globally. Both of you, Dana and you, do business in every city in the world, basically. A lot of time for you both to have to pick up now, not have to, get to, I guess is how you guys would describe it, because how much you love a whole new promotion. How does that change your life? How does that change Dana's life? Like, how are you guys?
Well, here's what I would tell you. For the people who are busy in this world, let's take you, for example. Okay. I've never heard you complain about, I got to go shoot this movie now. Oh, I got to get into shape. Oh, now I have to go to game day. Oh, now I have to go. Like, the reality is, if you want it, and you clearly did, you, Pat, and your team did, you go and get it, and you don't complain along the way. So we are willing participants in this. We think the one thing that we can do at TKO that we don't believe anyone else in these spaces can do, we can outwork you. So there's no issues in terms of that stuff. And it all starts with that here. And if we're willing to answer, I don't know that there's ever been a time, and you correct me if I'm wrong, that you've called me and I haven't either answered or texted, hey, give me an hour, I'm on a flight or this or that, I'll get you right back. Right? The same applies across the board, and you do business and you live your life the same way.
No, I do not. You know that. I am A-OK not answering. I'll answer you, yes. I will answer you and your entire TKO group as you freeze up there, all act the same way. That you're talking about the business minds that are at this TKO group are
second to none.
Outrageous. Mm-hmm. It is absolutely outrageous, and congrats to them coming together and being able to work together, you know? Because obviously Ari and Mark Shapiro.
Yep.
Okay.
Ari Emanuel, Mark Shapiro, you know, incredible prowess, not only in deal making, but in business across the board. If you look at the good fortune that we've had in the TKO stock, you know, if you look at that good fortune, it's up and to the right, not jinxing anything. You got Dana White. You got a whole plethora of people at the UFC who work with them. You got Triple H. You got all of our executives at WWE, and you have a really strong executive group at Zuffa. You'll never hear us complain about, oh, we're tired, oh, we have to work so much. I watched a reality show on Netflix about some other boxing promoter, and all I heard in the show was, oh my God, I'm exhausted. I need to go play golf now. And it's a great hobby for people who do it. But please don't tell me you're exhausted if you're going out to play 4 or 5 hours of golf. Tell me you're exhausted. By the way, tell your mama if you're tired. Don't tell me.
Yeah, that's a dog. You just heard a dog talk, and that is why we respect the hell out of you, man. And we assume this is going to go great. We cannot wait to get to your fights. We cannot wait to experience what you guys build over there with Zuffa, and congrats on it all. And tell Larry, good luck tomorrow. That's a crazy last name to have. That's crazy.
I'll tell you, I understand. I'll tell Lawrence, who's good people who accept my representation, you like. When you see him, you'll be like, oh, yeah, I do like this guy. And as you know, the Pat McAfee, I like somebody, that's not the easiest, you know, hurdle to get over. So he's one of your guys, he's one of our guys, and he's going to do great.
Nick, you're the great. He literally hears everything about everything. So whenever I'm in war with somebody, which happens, a lot of them dress like how he dresses, you know, because of what we talked about here at the beginning. So I'll say something to somebody that they have never heard before. I assume, right, Nick? I assume some of these people have never heard anything that I am telling them, I would assume.
Listen, all I know is I'm not going to mention any names. There were certain executive changes that happened at ESPN. Other executives reached out to you, sort of trying to, you know, form some sort of bond, but executives who had already, by you, not done right. And I think your response to one of them, when they said, hey, I'd like to sit down together, this and that, your response was, you're next. like the Goldberg sort of your neck. I know people would need more context to fully appreciate that, but I know you know what I'm talking about, and the boys know what I'm talking about. So yes, Lawrence Epstein, friend of yours, friend of ours. He's going to do great tomorrow.
Okay, good luck to him. Good luck to you. And shout out to you guys celebrating Cena, man. That should be a massive ordeal next Saturday. You're talking about GOAT and basically all aspects of it. And his career post-WWE, because of how damn good of an actor he is about to be gigantic as well. So you're talking about a legend out there. I think you guys have truly celebrated him. Next Saturday should be insane, right? I think that's what we're all kind of assuming.
That's right. Next Saturday, December 13th, that's Heisman Day. You got Army, Navy during the day. You have no college football at night. You have no NFL. They have not moved to Saturdays yet as of December 13th. And you have John Cena's final match exclusively on Peacock in the United States. And it's going to be a great show. By the way, you talk about people who work their behinds off, who never say that they're tired. Cena, you know him. Sure. You never hear him say, oh, I'm so tired. I can't believe this. I have to do this or that. He just does it. And when you talk about the GOAT, that's GOAT mentality. He deserves everything that he's earned in his life, and it's our honor to help see him out.
It's either Gunther or LA Knight. If I was him, I'd be trying not to be in there with Gunther.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, just
Tell me what were the Gunther chops like?
Brother, my first one I took, okay? Because you can't. I was running around slapping myself in the chest, just seeing. You know, I was in the lead up to it. I was just seeing what I could do. You know, kind of like Matthew McConaughey, but as hard as I possibly could. In the shower, a little bit of wet. I'm like, let me see. I'm smacking the shit out of myself there, trying to see what it's going to be like. When I realized I would never be able to hit myself as hard as he's about to hit me. And that first time, I go up over the ropes. I stumble a little bit because I see him almost. He's almost ready. Then I go to get him, and I'm exposed completely like this. That's a big mistake. I had not felt one of those. My entire body's like this. Yeah, it felt like I was going to die. As soon as that thing hit me, it felt like I was going to. The sound popped an eardrum, okay, off my own chest, and then my sternum just kind of deflated my lungs. So it was a cool time. It was a lot of fun. Everybody enjoyed it in St. Louis out there. It was a lot of fun.
Listen, we're going to bring you back. I know you and I are going to sit together once college football slows a little bit. But by the way, how weird is it in the shower? Why does it hurt less, the self-chop in the shower, than it does out of the shower? Is there a film of water?
I don't know, I don't know.
I don't know what that is.
It sounded like a shotgun when he hit me, though, that first time.
Yeah, it was violent.
It literally, and I remember I had that bruise here because his elbow. His elbow hit me here on one of them while he was out here, and I had a bruise for like a week and a half.
That was a contusion, not a bruise.
Yeah,
good point. Vicious.
Oh, geez, I'm dying. I hit a boot to the stomach. I hit a boot again. McAfee's getting his ass beat by going through. He's the most violent champion in the history of the WWE. Yep, I wanted it. Oh, it looks like a little Triple H right there, doesn't it? It looks like a little Triple H right there. Nope, down, dead. Yeah,
that was tremendous match. Yeah, so we'll see. LA Knight, Gunther, who's going to be John Cena's final opponent. Either way, it'll be a great show and a great match, and we'll see Cena out the right way.
All right, we appreciate you. Please tell Larry we said good luck tomorrow. Please tell Dana we said congrats on now officially running a boxing promotion. Had a great launch with Canelo and Crawford. Now we'll see what you guys can do in building an entire organization to make boxing a sport that is consistent and hopefully great for the next, 100 years.
Let's see what we can do. And thank you, gentlemen, always for having me and for being so gracious with me. I really appreciate your time.
Please tell Suit we said what's up, and he did great here. He did great setting this whole thing up. Suit did a great job.
I'll tell him.
We like
Chris
Suit.
Shout out. I know.
We like Suit. We hated Suit at the beginning.
At one time,
we met Suit. He was working for another company, and he had all the answers. And I think he was forced to have all the answers. And boy, I did not like his answers. So that was an immediate nope.
I'll leave it. Go ahead, please.
No, that's what I said to Chris. Nope. That's what I said to him when I met him.
Some people, maybe you, I'm not saying this, but some people, when they meet new people, may not necessarily like them at the outset. And trust has to be earned over time, rather than other people who embrace people right away and then get disappointed by people. So Suit, as you know, has proven himself over time to you.
Yeah.
That's Chris Gentle. He does great work with us.
To the team. Yeah, Suit came into our house.
He did.
A long time ago.
Yeah. Suit came into our house when he was working for a different company, and he sat at my one of my desks, and then you're welcome, using my internet with my heat and drinking my cold water, okay?
Cooking bacon.
In my kitchen. And then all of a sudden, he had all these answers.
the internet. How about 2022 WrestleMania Dallas? You show up, you're running 15 minutes, 20 minutes late. I'm so sorry I'm late. We said, what happened? What were you doing? He said, oh, I was setting up the internet in my Airbnb. And our question to you was, you're still setting up your own internet? Like, can we get someone to do this for you? And boom, here you are now. You're not setting up your own internet anymore.
Well, our internet needs fixed now. If you have any answers, we are currently in the middle of it. But Nick, we love you, man. We appreciate you. You're the best. Good luck with everything. See ya.
Thanks again.
That's Nick Khan.
Yeah, Nick.